GoldQuest is a company I've followed for years. Bill and Julio Espaillat discovered, put a mine in production, got it going, sold it in the DR. They've made a new discovery. They're working on a pre-feasibility study now. I expect them to be able to pull the same trick off again. And I think if the market ever stops hating everyone, they're going to start getting a bit more love for this as they get through feasibility. And Bill's going to walk us through how that's going to happen. Bill Fisher, GoldQuest.
Hi everybody, I'm going to try and stick to my 10 minutes because I don't want to see Eric in his leather kit, so I don't think anyone else does either. Anyway, so I'm going to go quite fast so you'll be rattling through some of the slides. We're looking two sides of our lives. We're unlocking the value of Romero through a pre-feasibility study, but we're also continuing exploration. We have 3 geological teams in the field as we speak right now, and you'll see some of the results, which is very new. Part of this with the Precipitate Gold, we have an agreement with sharing data, and you'll see where we've really got to for the first time. I'm going to be putting this out today. Here's our PEA. We discovered this in 2012, May 2012. The share price went up from 8 cents up to $2. So 350 million market cap, we're now down to 12 cents. So we've given it all back again. But in the meantime, we've drilled this thing off. We raised $20.5 million in 2 bought deals upon the discovery. We came up with a very nice resource, which is about 3.2 million ounces of gold equivalent, of which 70% is gold and 30% is copper. IRR of 34%, right up there. There's not necessarily a currency benefit here because it's a US dollar and Dominican pesos. Our peso cost in the Dominican Republic is for labor, and many other things are US dollars. All-in sustaining costs, 572. Our cash costs are sub 400. That is on a co-product basis. If you take gold alone and you credit the copper against the gold, we're sub 300 all-in sustaining costs, sub $150 cash costs per ounce. So we're fairly well protected. And very quick payback, 2.7 years, because we're looking to do a mine expansion about years 3, and I'll explain why. Because this resource that we're putting this pre-feasibility around is only 34% of our indicated resource and about 25% of our total resource, if you include the inferred. The reason it's so good is look at that nice bit of drill core. It's really good stuff. That samples 288 grams of gold. But the big thing here is the best drilling ever in the Caribbean Basin is in this deposit. True widths of 235 meters of 8 grams and 1.4% copper is our best hole. And there's been about 15 holes of greater than 200 meters true width through the middle of this deposit. Very compact deposit. Myself and Julio, which Eric is very kind to mention, I was the chairman of Aurelian Resources. Some of you may have taken part in that 100-bagger, which we sold to Kinross for $1.2 million from a discovery. That was the 3rd last drill hole before we ran out of money, and in GoldQuest's case, it was the 2nd last drill hole before we ran out of money when we hit the big stuff. So maybe that's the next one, the last drill hole before we ran out of money. So don't give me any money, or else I'll have to, I won't get there. So Julio and I, we put Cerro de Memo into production. As I said, it was a $350,000 purchase. We sold it for $186 million, having built a mine along the way on time and under budget. In 2008 was the construction time. Dominican Republic, this is not near Pueblo Viejo. This is across the island, in the poorest part of the island towards the Haitian border. We're about 50 k's from the border. This is a brand new belt. This was unknown until we made the discoveries. It's about 40 million years later than the Pueblo Viejo belt. And there's Cerro de Memon next to Pueblo Viejo, the mine that we built before. This area was a different collision when the Atlantic plate hit the Caribbean plate. And so it's a brand new belt, and we picked up a lot of it, and there's very few juniors on the belt right now. Quick run through the economics. There's the 34% of the indicated resource is the mine plan there. No shaft. We've reduced the capex by not putting a shaft in. There's still 66% of the resource surrounding it, which will come after the expansion. We're looking in year 4, which will be laid out in the pre-feasibility study. Long hole stopes. The stopes are very big, 15 meters by 20 meters by 50 meters long, so our operating costs per ton are extremely low. These are some of the biggest stopes out there. The only comparison really in Canada right now is the Young-Davidson mine in Ontario. We get to production real quick. Don't forget, this is the 34% high-grade core, up to 150,000 ounces of gold. Within 3 years, payback 2.7 years. The red is copper by value. The gold is gold by value. This is recoverable metal that we get back from the smelter. It goes to a concentrate, goes to the smelter. So at this point, no cyanide on site that will assist our permitting. CapEx is sub 150 million. Low mining CapEx because we enter the top of the ore body and we start mining very early on. There's another 80 million of sustaining cap. There's our margins, as you see, 572 all-in sustaining cost. That's net of all the transporting, refining royalties. There's a small royalty to Goldfields on this. Apart from that, there's no royalty, not from the government, not from anybody. There is no streaming, there is no royalty beyond the 1.25%. We have no intention of doing that. We will finance this through trading concentrate, offtake agreements, and if we do any hedging at B copper, we'll remain unhedged in gold. We're okay at 900 gold. As you see there, at $900 gold, we're over 20% IRR. At today's prices of gold and copper, we're around 25% rate of return, and we haven't really suffered from where the the PEA was done. So we're still in pretty good shape, and we'll be with a low all-in sustaining costs, and you'll see a number of those today. They're the ones that are going to survive. Rattled forward very quickly. We discovered it 2012. No one puts this on. I like this graph because no one puts discovery on. Many deposits you see right now were discovered back in the dark ages, but we found this. We've moved it forward through 2 PEAs. The mining application was put in October. The pre-feasibility study was started in November. The feasibility will start in March. We're moving this very, very fast. We have the cash to do this. The reason we have that because we drilled this off. There's no further drilling required in this deposit. The environmental permit will start hopefully in the summer. We're expecting our mining permit sometime in the summer to be granted, and then the environmental process will roll its way through. At Serra de Maimon, a greenfield copper concentrate mine, it took less than a year to permit the environment permit. And there's the more resource. This is the mine number 2, is the red and the blue colors. The mine number 1 is the 34%, 6.6 million tons, plus a bit of inferred resource. That inferred resource achieved a hole in October in the inferred resource of 44 meters of 8 grams gold and 1.4% copper, and that's moved that inferred area up into the mine plan. So our maiden reserves, proven and probable reserves, will come in early May. The remaining part of this mine is wrapping around the deposit, the red and the blue. This will be available as and when there's any recovery in the gold price. But in the meantime, let's get in there and make a bucket load of money with low capex. Here's some of our peers. If you look at this one here on the top left, what we've only raised 26 million since the discovery, most of it at the beginning, and we spent less. Of course we did, because we didn't raise any more. But what we've done with this money is put 3.2 million ounces into resource, 2/3 of which is the indicated category. We developed a mid-sized deposit. We're not at the bottom of the range. There's other ones smaller than ourselves. So with the money we spent, we've got ourselves to this position. We're certainly not reflected in market cap in terms of M&I ounces. $11 an ounce is our valuation. The spend we've had is a lot less than that. Payback is very low compared to our peer group. The IRR, the plus 30% club, is a fairly limited group amongst us. But that's not all. We're actually exploring along the belt. I'll rattle through the geology. There's the airborne mag we did. There's the belt between the 2 main faults, and that is the volcanics related to the collision of the Atlantic and the Caribbean plates, the Tirreo gold belt. There's Romero. That's the magnetic rendering. You can see it's in a magnetic low because the rocks were demagnetized by these heats, bringing copper and gold to the surface. Then we did IP, which made the discovery. There's the discovery. You can see how it sticks out. This was the first ever IP done on the western side of the Dominican Republic, outpop Romero. As you can see, there's 3 other areas there, which also show a great deal of opportunity. And if you see, there's the magnetics, and then you can see how the IP drops in terms of the magnetic lows. So a chargeability high, magnetic low. Here's the mapping we've done. This is the first time this has ever been mapped in this detail. As I say, there's 3 geologists in the field right now. We're mapping this on outcrop by outcrop basis. We're about 50% complete, and we're really getting a lot of interesting stuff coming out of it. There's Romero. Here's the alteration running through the middle of this belt. This isn't rocket science. It's just a lot of boot work. And this is what's popped out of this. It's the first time this slide's been compiled. You can see the precipitate discovery right in the bottom there, 10 grams per gold. These are grab samples, up to 34% copper in the north. If you look just near the precipitate, there's 42 grams of gold at a grab sample with 2.2% copper, 17% copper, 17 grams of gold in jengibre. Let's wrap that up into the drilling. There's the IP targets. Here comes the drilling. There's the beauty at Romero, the best hole, 234 meters of 8 grams. Look at La Bestia and Imperial to the left. Big, thick pyrites. Pyrite is iron sulfide. And you can see Romero has 200 meters of iron sulfide. So these are big things. We found the room, but we haven't found the table in the middle of the room on these deposits. And also jengibre down there, 40 meters of 1.4. Precipitate is 18 grams of 4.5. And next to that, we've got 79 grams of 75 meters of half a gram. Lots of good smoke. Why GoldQuest? We made a discovery. We're careful with money. Most of our resources are indicated, and we're doing lots of stuff. We're doing a pre-feas, the maiden resource, followed by lots of blue sky. So you're going to see lots of news. You'll see exploration update as soon as next week. You'll see pre-feas in May, and you'll see the feasibility, which we're funded to, in December. That's me. I've done it with 36 seconds to go. That work for you?